Welcome to the Rumors of Tamriel podcast, the only place for hot topics in the Elder Scrolls Online universe. Sit back and please enjoy.
Hello and welcome to ESO's The Rumors from Tamriel. I'm Brent.
We should have probably picked an order.
Yeah, maybe.
just saying.
Alright. There's Ryan, there's Rex, there's Dakota. And in the background while we're talking, you're gonna see the latest trailer from E3. Going on. I don't even know what Rex is doing. That's our comical relief, I guess. Oh. Alright. So, let's start with an introduction. This is the first episode into our ESO podcast.
Hey, I got one. Say my name and I'm like, hey. I'm just
I already said your name.
Up.
Anyway, introduction. I have been playing Elder Scrolls since Oblivion. I played Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, and hopefully Elder Scrolls Online. Ryan, how many Elder Scrolls games have you played?
Well, I got into the series with Skyrim, and then Brent, I finally gave in to Brent, hassling me to get Oblivion, so I illegally downloaded Oblivion. I torrented it, and I played it. I couldn't stand the graphics, so I deleted it. But I mean, it was a good game. It was a great game. I liked it. Probably not gonna get Elder Scrolls Online, but let's see if we can't change our opinion on that.
Rex!
So yeah.
I like Oblivion. I started on Morrowind, and I've only played about a total of 5 hours on that, so that didn't really catch my attention. But I played Oblivion. I beat that. That was a fantastic game. I beat it twice. And when Skyrim came out, I've beaten that once. So overall, I still like Oblivion the most. But hopefully they don't change too much of the whole Elder Scrolls theme, the Elder Scrolls Online. Most thing I'm worried about.
Alright, Dakota.
I started Elder Scrolls with Oblivion, just like most people. but
Most people of our generation.
Yeah, our generation.
Yeah. I played Morrowind.
I played Daggerfall. That existed?
Arena?
Yeah, that was in the 1990s.
Have you ever played Arena?
Oh yeah.
First one? It's like
I don't
I'm pretty
think
sure
it had
that's
Mario
Mario.
music. Yeah, that's
But,
copyright. You can't do that.
Hey, shut up.
No, that's just really sped up Coldplay. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
All licensing's removed.
Yeah.
But yeah, started out with Oblivion and high hopes for ESO.
Extremely. I think all of us in total have logged hundreds of hours into Elder Scrolls in general. I think it's safe to say that. So let's go ahead and let's
100% for achievements in Oblivion.
yeah, exactly. Let's move up to the build-up of the franchise to MMO. So exactly how did they get to the point where it was like this model is perfect for MMO? Let's do it. We obviously it's not being made by Todd Howard's team. We know that, and that it's being made by ZeniMax Online. So, what exactly led them to that point? I
think the biggest thing is like pretty much anyone, if you talk to them about whenever they're playing an Elder Scrolls game or even actually one of the Fallout games, pretty much everyone would have the same opinion of, oh yeah, it was a great game, I love playing it, I put so many hours into it, but it would have been better if I played it with a friend. And I think that's pretty much the direction that gaming's moving in general, is just that like I love the game, but I'd rather play it with a friend.
I agree. It's not as fun when you're going through the cave and there's no one to talk to. And you can talk in a party or like a call with one of your friends, but it's like it feels like it'd be more immersive, and it's just a lot more fun if you had a buddy going into the cave with you. And like, yeah, you can bring a companion along in the game, but they can't talk. You
Yeah,
dig?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
Oh.
So
They
Oh,
don't have
Rex.
feelings. They're
I make
just
them
AI.
talk. I make them talk.
Oh, you make them talk. You
I use
smack
my
them.
I mean,
imagination.
Oh,
you can talk to
you
them, but
use
it's
your
like-
imagination. Look at you. You're an
I turn-
Imagineer.
That's why I walk through
Go
and
work
just
for
ask
Disney.
everybody, what are the rumors around here? It makes me feel more connected.
Honestly, in my opinion, I thought I'd speculated. I knew Skyrim was going to come out. I knew they were going to work on the next Elder Scrolls. I mean, they hadn't. So I had always speculated Skyrim, but I had honestly speculated there to be an arena in it, at which maybe some sort of player versus player, or even a co-op. But that was high hopes. And then when that didn't even happen, no even online interaction with players. When it didn't happen, I was sort of upset. But I think with the announcement of this game, just being its own thing, its own entity, with not really expanding the universe, but expanding what was the universe, I guess, because it's a prequel to the actual series that is currently going on in single player wise. I honestly think an MMO adaptation of this, unless. And what they're doing with it is what I like. They're taking, the actual gameplay mechanics of the regular single-player game and making an MMO, and I think that's what next-generation MMOs need to do. They need to take what this game is doing.
That's definitely going to be a huge part of
Wait.
what's going to make this game successful.
I don't know too much about Elder Scrolls Online, nor have I read up much about it.
All right, so
But is it gonna be just like Skyrim, in a sense?
Yeah, and
the
there's,
first
like,
person?
you
It's
get-
pretty much. It's just gonna
Yeah.
be it's gonna be, dude. It's gonna be a.
That's something.
You've
That's
played
something
online
new we've
games.
never
You've played
had.
You've played World of Warcraft, Rex. It's like
It's
that,
not like
but
that, though. It's not like that.
It's not like
No.
that though. It's like
Yeah.
that, but it's not like that.
It's
apparently. It's just news to
revolutionary.
me.
It is really.
Revolutionary.
It's
Is it revolutionary like Guild Wars
Is it
was?
Dragonborn?
And how
no,
No,
it
but
what
see-
wasn't.
that was?
Okay, the bad thing though is like Guild Wars gets a bad rap, but like really they introduced some really cool new things for MMOs. It's just the game itself was terrible.
I don't think we should say it's terrible because we can get a lot of flack for that. But
You know what? I don't give
we
a
put
shit.
up a
That's
good
my opinion.
yeah
I
we
can get all
definitely
the
put up
hate
a good
mail.
No,
amount
see,
of
the
video
game
and
was
videos on it.
everything.
cool and all. The game was cool and all, but like, we played it as a group of friends. But then like we played it for like a month, and then
Yeah.
it just got old. And
It wasn't addictive. That's the problem. There wasn't enough content.
$60 for.
There was not enough content to keep players playing, in my opinion. Not enough. Not nearly enough. Nothing was addictive. And that's how you get people in. You lure people in with they pay it, they get invested. If someone's not invested, they won't play the game. They're free to play. They're in there 5 minutes.
Yeah, Brent,
you know,
we get that. You
yeah.
hate free-to-play games.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they need to get invested
I
in the
hate
game.
them too. To be
And-
honest with you.
And once you get
I don't know,
you
dude.
get invested with addictive
RuneScape
things.
was fun.
That's
RuneScape was
true.
probably the only
But didn't you end up
game that
going
was
member at one
addictive.
point?
Dude,
Yeah, I was member for like
I think
2
I'm
years.
still. I think I've had my dad's credit card on there for about 3 years. Just
Oh, that's
charge him
bad.
every
That's
single
bad.
month.
All right. So we all agree that the build up to the MMO is obviously not necessary, but it's understood. I
Here's
guess.
something kind of off topic, but me and Brent both trying to get Oblivion multiplayer mods to work.
Ah, yeah, that was
Dude,
interesting.
It would have been so much better if it would work, but it's like each and every store you open, or if you say you go into a store or you're going into a town like through a door, it's a different realm. So you can only play on, like, you'd have to rejoin your friend each and every time you go into a different room.
Yeah.
Terrible. I mean, if they could have made a better mod for Oblivion, I think it would be really popular.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
It's definitely what everybody wants, is a multiplayer experience on Elder Scroll games, but I
And
just
I don't
really
know-
hope they don't change it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's another big thing is like when you're doing this jump, which nobody's really done the jump from RPG to MMO before, and for this one, like my biggest hope for it is that like the the kind of item lists stay the same, where it's like there's these kind of weapons that you collect, and then you just use them and show them off to your friends and shit, and then trade around. Like, that's what I'm hoping. The thing that pissed me off about...
That's kind of
So-
like RuneScape.
Yeah.
I'll let you finish.
No, the thing, like, what I'm saying, though, is the biggest thing that pissed me off about Guild Wars, which is the other game that was revolutionary before this one, because they introduced the whole world-scale PvP thing.
Yeah.
But the thing that pissed me off is that, like, there was no different weapons. There was, this weapon looks a little bit different, but you get to use the exact same moves, and it has a couple different stats. I didn't like that.
All right. What do you guys expect from combat in this game?
Spells and swords.
What about
I
bows,
want to be
man?
able to do both.
Yeah. What about bows? People like bows, Rex.
Yeah.
No, what I meant was you can have weapons and you can have spells. I don't want it to be like you have one or the other. I want
Yeah.
that character that can do everything.
Oh, you want the
But it
hybrid? That's what you're
depends on
saying.
what
You don't
the
want the
play-
single class.
Right, I want it to be like
I
whatever
don't think
you're
it's gonna
good
work
at
like
is
that.
what you use.
I don't feel like they would make it like that though.
Well, like,
It probably
that's how
wouldn't,
they
but-
had it in their RPGs, is that you
That's-
could
Yeah,
have
I
a
know.
sword in one hand and a spell in the
Yeah.
other.
Oh no,
and that
that's
would
not
be-
what I'm
but-
saying.
It'd be
No, no.
cool if they did transfer over.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it
No,
wouldn't
no,
be
that
an
that
MMO
that I
is what you're
believe
trying
is
to
in the
say.
game.
It's like the whole thing is if you're going say a raid for instance, you all have your own part. You take part in being a mage, or you take part as a tank or a healer. You can't be everything at once.
Okay.
Defeat the purpose
kinda
of
agree
No,
with
well,
that.
literally
you
your
you can be
character thing.
you can be both, because like I'm just gonna jump over to
Yeah, but-
Star Wars: The Old Republic. There is what you could do is, like, say you're playing as one of the mage characters, like a sorcerer or a sage. You could heal and do damage at the same time. So there was that, and then like the same thing with the commando or operative, is you were healing and doing damage by shooting at the same time. So like it's not completely foreign to MMOs to have that person that can both heal and do damage, or have the different types of abilities.
Yeah, but it's. I think what Rex is saying is like in Star Wars. Say I'm going back to Star Wars here. It was
The Old
less
Republic,
hybrid.
by the
Like,
way.
yeah, Old Republic. It was less hybrid. Like, if you went down one path, if you really wanted to be play as a good character, you needed to go all the way down it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And so, like, if
Um,
you were a healer, you're getting no special attacks really. You're just all healing.
In my personal opinion, the only thing I don't want in the online experience is when I play Skyrim, I am like maxed out in like bow,
Yeah.
magic, and sword.
See,
Like,
that's
if
not
they
what I
do
was
that,
saying.
that's gonna be ridiculous. But I mean, if they do something as far as like a battle mage, and you can be really good as a battle mage, where you are good with the sword and magic, that's perfect. That's a hybrid that works, and it should work.
I mean,
As far as I'm concerned.
yeah, but what I said was kind of, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
not meant for multiplayer. So
Yeah,
if you were
I know.
maxed out with that, if everybody was maxed out with everything, there would be no point in even leveling anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's
But-
no point. There's no building up in one area. There's no skill of building,
But
which
what
is
I would
needed in
like
MMO.
is no restrictions to certain weapons. I don't want to be like, okay, say I'm a mage and like staves, wands, or whatever. You know, you have your certain weapons you could use, but I want to be able to, like, say I wanted to use a mace, just for no reason at all. I wanted to use a mace or a sword. I want to be able to have that choice. I don't want it to have to
Yeah.
jeopardize by the class I chose, because I work so hard on getting one character all the way up, and then I gotta go make a whole nother character, waste my time on that just to use like another weapon. Or,
I
like,
agree with Rex, because I remember when we played Star Wars The Old Republic. The one thing that stands out to me, what I thought of when Rex said that, is when we started playing, Brent instantly went Jedi Knight because he had been planning on going it. And so he was like, alright, now when do I get to use my double bladed lightsaber? And we learned a little bit later that that class never gets to even
Yeah.
use that weapon. So I kind of agree with Rex. I would like to be able to like have some freedom with your characters, like be able to do what you
I
want
feel
to
like
do.
it should
even
be player
limited.
based, not level based.
I
I
think
feel like it should be on the player skill.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing would be like for weapons like that, it should be that the weapon, like if you want to switch types of weapons, so like say going actually the best way is looking at the skill points that they've had in their RPGs, going from say a blade like a sword to a blunt weapon like mace is just like you can make that quick transition and use the other weapon, but you'll be absolutely shit with it if you put all of your time into using the other one.
Yeah.
Right.
See, I don't know if I really want it to be like to where one person can use all weapons, because I mean, think of it in the perspective of loot. When you loot something, you distribute the things to the classes that need it. I guess it'll
Well,
still
okay.
be kind of like that if someone just specializes in it, because you're gonna have to pick your specialty. But what if the problem is you don't take the stuff that you can't use? Okay.
Well, I would like
Well, now
each
you're
and
gonna
every
take
yeah,
the
but-
stuff that you can, because
Well,
you
no,
can.
but even if you can use it all, it's like you're not going to take some super high level thing that this guy's going to be amazing with, and you're going to be absolute shit with just because
Oh,
you
well,
want the option
I'm not
of
saying
using that.
us. I'm not
Some
saying
people are
reasonable
douchebags
people.
like that, and then they
Yeah,
end up using it for
I'm
money.
saying for
They'll
like
sell it.
Dungeon Finder and stuff, like the
Yeah,
Dungeon
true.
Finder
Yeah,
stuff.
well-
Like it's gonna be complete shit because of that. If that
Well,
happens. But
I
I
would
feel
like
like they're
each and
still
every-
gonna put that in anyways because it's an Elder Scrolls experience.
I want it to be like each and every character. Well, each and every character should have a ranged
Maybe
attack.
no.
Like, I want at least everyone to be able to use
Yeah.
spells and a
Yeah,
melee
yeah.
weapon, or a bow and a melee weapon. You have a choice.
No, I don't know
like,
about that. I think that I don't. I think everybody should be able to use a bow and a melee weapon. I don't like. I think magic should be like reserved for something though. You know?
Okay, yeah.
'Cause
Well,
magic
at
is,
least
like,
a bow
cool.
or throwing weapons, like a
bow
throwing knife or
and
something.
sword fighting's not. No, that's not cool.
Yeah.
That
I
doesn't
think,
take skill.
No, okay, well, you know what I'm saying. Magic is like magic
Yeah,
is like
yeah.
in Elder Scrolls. It's not like reserved is what it should be. But yeah, I think they should implement like throwing weapons, like throwing axes, throwing knives.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Like
Um,
for like a melee warrior to use as like an offhand ability.
Yeah, but it'd still be hard because that kind of thing would just be like you have so many of these, and then you just throw them all, and you're like, oh well, shit. Now I have to go pay for all these consumables.
Okay, now
Yeah, but
let's.
that's what makes the game better. You can have that item be buildable, so people can make money off of it.
That
You know?
actually, yeah, that's genius.
Yeah.
Genius.
There you go.
See,
Um,
Ryan, the game designer,
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah, he's definitely Look at him. Now, as far as slashing, like with swords and stuff, like you do in a Skyrim, Oblivion, Elder Scrolls single player games, do you think that'll work in MMOs?
Wait a minute.
like real time blocking and real time slashing.
I want it
you
to
have to have
be-
a good connection.
I want like a really in-depth melee thing instead of click, swing, click, swing, click, swing. I want
Well,
it to
it's-
be like
Yeah, no,
chivalry.
it's
like,
literally
you know what
like
I mean? I can choose
Skyrim.
the uppercut or choose
Yeah.
the slash left or right or
Yeah.
stab.
It's like Skyrim, how you just like you look at it and you click it, not just like click one auto attack, click one auto attack. You know what I'm getting at here.
Yeah.
Every other MMO
Yeah.
in the world.
And instead, it's left click,
Other
left
than
click,
Terra.
left click, right click, left click.
Yeah.
I would
but
like
no.
it to be like chivalry though. I don't know. That's really cool. I liked that about that game. It was
Yeah,
it's
that's
so
actually pretty
unique.
much what it is. Is
Like
it's sword fighting with you choose when to block and you choose when to swing.
I want to choose where to swing.
And that's a
the
nice
key,
that's
though.
that's actually nice transition for PvP, because that's our
I
next
want to
topic.
be able to.
How will
like-
PvP work with real-time blocking and real-time stabbing and stuff? Like, will it work the same? Because
Well, I think
maybe
even
like,
in most MMOs, that's what they do. Is it's
Yeah.
still real time. Like you have to activate your abilities in a certain order to block and shit. But like,
will it work like Chivalry?
Yes, it can work because now most games, if you block, like if it's a single player game, when you block, it doesn't hurt your health at all. Kind of defeating the
Now-
purpose
Now,
of.
when you put up your shield, now I'm really hoping this doesn't work. But what if there's a bug on initial release because they're putting trebuchets and catapults and stuff? What if you actually use your shield and it like blocks the entire
you see,
damage.
Well,
that's
there's
not what I mean. I
guaranteed to
think
be
that
I
bugs.
think it
there's
should
gonna be-
block a percentage.
If there's,
I just
if
don't.
there's
I just
statistics
really
for
don't want.
blocking,
Yeah, but
I
like,
want it to
think
be
of-
like,
guys,
you can
guys,
get hurt.
think about this
Like,
for a
no matter
second.
what, you're always
Yeah,
gonna
there's
get
gonna be
hurt
lots of
blocking.
bugs. That's true, but I'm
Guys,
just saying, like, I really
think
don't
about
want that
this
to be on
for
day
1
one.
second, though. A trebuchet fires. A giant ass boulder is flying towards a knight, and he puts up his shield and blocks it. Even if it's just a percentage,
Just
that
deflects
guy's
it
getting
back.
fucking crushed.
Deflects
Yeah, that
it
guy's
flat,
dead.
and just blows him up.
He's not gonna be like, don't worry guys, I got this. Shield.
What if somebody played catch with it? They launch it and then they just deflect it back and forth between shields. Ting.
Now, we understand that, you know, PvP is like 300 men and all that stuff. You guys know that, right?
Yeah.
I do now.
Okay. There you go. New information every day, right? So how do you think that's gonna work as far as like the map? Will like people divide up in squads and then go fight each other? You know,
like a
it's
World
gonna be
Warcraft
like
thing.
it's gonna be like I think whoever has the most charisma and like the like in real like you know real charisma and can lead like convince people to come with them. That's how it's gonna
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
So-
like
I
everybody to
feel
this
like it's
stronghold.
gonna
We're
be-
massing for an attack.
An
So now,
experienced player is gonna
for
lead
someone,
everybody.
for you know, a lot of people ask this question before games come out. Now, for someone to prepare for, you know, the online, would you agree that Guild Wars 2 would be like the open world PvP be a good thing
Yeah.
to play?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think it would be.
Like, not so much for what you're actually doing, but to prepare you for the kind
Multiple
of fighting
people.
that will be going on.
Yeah, the multiple people kind of thing.
Yeah.
That you could get ganked by like 50 guys.
And definitely the instance waiting to
Yeah.
get through to like different
No.
things like that.
I
Definitely
don't-
play a game that
How will
has
that
it.
work? Because, I mean, think about in Star Wars, I mean, or even WoW. I mean, I don't know how WoW PvP, Rex is
It's
sort
WoW,
of a reference for
WoW
there.
has the
Yeah, but
it
wait
has the
times.
same kind of things as the Borderlands for
Yeah, but wait times. Think about wait times.
I don't want a long wait time. I want constant war. I just want that
Yeah.
300 player
If
battle
it's
the entire
300 some
time.
200 300 people, aren't the wait times going to be like substantially more?
I feel like it should be quick. The only reason why is because if you go back then and have wars, there's not 300 people. There's over what? Let's say 100,000.
There's not 100,000, but
I don't know
Well,
about that.
Persian army was a million.
It was.
that's a
Persian
lot of
army was
people.
a
Actually, no.
million.
He actually might be
May-
right, dude.
Maybe
yeah,
Rome.
100,000's a big army, but it's not that
No,
big.
dude. I actually recalling now. I'm thinking about the Qin Empire in China. To deal with the Mongols, he asked two of his best generals. One general said send an army of 200,000, and one said send an army of 400,000.
Yeah, 100,000 is not
He
that
lis-
much compared to
No, he listened to the one that said 200,000 first. All of his soldiers got crushed. So then he sent another army, a whole another army of 400,000 men. That means he had over 600,000 men at his disposal.
Okay, now
Um,
first of all, this is
yeah,
a game.
but like I was gonna say, okay,
this is a
first of all,
game
this
with
is a game.
with high
Secondly,
graphics.
think of another think of
Okay,
another
well,
thing that's
300
further back
people-
that's not in China where
Yes, there's
gonna be
there's so
slightly
many
here.
people.
There's quite a few
Well,
people in
listen, if
China,
it's, say,
but like
okay,
think of another example, okay? First assault on Greece. 25,000 Atlanteans, 10,000 Spartans. That's 35,000 soldiers on the Greek side.
Did the I don't think the Spartans helped on the
Okay,
first assault.
okay.
At
Okay, no.
Thermopylae.
No, not Thermopylae. The Spartans said, "Fuck you guys,"
let's get
and
away
that
from
was
how many people should be in game. Okay, let's get
Yeah.
away from that.
300.
How do you think?
Teleprex.
Fuck you! You just made me forget what I was gonna say. Okay. I forgot.
I said the wrong word. I said Atlantean. I meant Athenian.
You did say Atlantean, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Now you think of it.
That's
now
why
I
I
think of it.
caught that too, but I didn't really say anything.
I just thought about it. I'm like, wait, what did I just say? Anyways,
All right. So how long do you think wait times are gonna be? Okay, no. Now I know what I want to say. Okay, so if wait times are gonna be, or wait times in sports war and stuff are long, and I do understand that
Short.
that Elder Scrolls Online is on one server. It's everyone on one server from PC, Xbox, and PS4. They're on different servers. It's all segregated servers, but everyone on that console all are on the same server. I understand that, there's going to be a lot of people.
When I die, I want to be back into battle within like 2 seconds.
But see, no.
It makes the army seem bigger. It makes like.
Yeah, but will that affect the wait time?
I think there should be a penalty for death.
Well.
Like
I don't. Max is gonna be 10 seconds.
They already said they already have a penalty. So, you can revive yourself instantly with a if you have a filled soul gem, but if you don't, you have to go back to a way shrine.
Good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because actually, that's a really good idea. Going off of what is it? Sorry, WoW. Like that's what that makes me think of is just
yeah. Plus it sticks to the lore and all that stuff. I think it works, and you can use yours on other people, like in other
which is
groupmates.
weird though. If you use a soul gem to revive yourself, considering the storyline says that you're soulless.
Yeah, that's true.
What the hell up?
Yeah, but
by the way,
yeah.
Thinking of this, me and Brent were talking about it earlier when he was actually explaining the storyline to me. How it's this whole guy who wants to take over Tamriel, and he's stealing everybody's souls, and the only reason you can stand against him is because you're the soulless one. How many people do you think are in their character models are going to build, like, red-headed characters? Just to go with the soulless.
Look at that. By the way, Rex, that was a reference to gingers.
Well, I'm too busy looking at pictures of Elder Scrolls trying to think up of something to talk about.
Alright, so do you think wait times, even, like, it's 300 people and everyone's on one server. Do you think wait times are going to be significantly smaller than
I don't like the art
WoW
style,
and Star Wars, or more still?
The art style is really stupid.
So wait times, more or less than, say, Star Wars or WoW? What, less? You say less?
I'm game for
And
less,
do you think there will be an option for a more, like, small group PvP, or do you think it's all going to be 300 and 200?
I want it to be like, okay, so think of two armies just coming together, fighting. There's always people coming back from behind them, just coming. So basically, when I die,
you don't want everyone to be a
I don't want to wait for a long time. I want to die, come right back into battle. So
that's not what I'm saying.
Fighting.
When you queue for the match.
Oh, that, okay.
Yeah, do you think it's going to be less or more?
Well, give me an example.
Well, I don't know. If there's 300-man matches, there might be... How many people are going to get this game, though? Because that's a lot of people
That's the
in a
question.
match.
That is. Now, because of that, are they going to let... Is that just the max? Or is there going to be less than that? And also, is there going to be PvP matches that only have like 12, 16 people in it?
Maybe should be at least the same or a little more. Be a lot of people.
It will be a lot, and there's going to be a lot playing. But the fact that there's a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One variant, which are a lot cheaper to play because you don't have to build an amazing PC to run at maximum, or you could just play PS4 or Xbox One. In this case, I would assume people would be playing PlayStation 4. Yes, it's going to be on console. It's going to be segregated servers still.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it got pushed back to spring.
Wait a minute.
2014.
So is it gonna be PS3 players against PC and Xbox players?
No, they're all segregated servers.
Good.
So.
Well, even then.
So do you think there still will be enough people on PC, even though consoles will have it?
Yeah, more bigger PC fan base.
You know what?
Than
the big thing that it comes down to is when it comes to MMOs, PC is the only system that will properly support an MMO ever.
Exactly. But then again, you got to think this isn't going to be your average MMO. It's going to be like Skyrim or Oblivion.
But it still supports.
They
stated that because Elder Scrolls has always been that mod supporting game, they still want to support mods, and they have already confirmed UI mods. And, the hardcore players obviously will play PC. That's obvious. But will the game...
And even if you want a mod, I don't think you're going to be turning to the Xbox One. They won't even support you playing with your friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Xbox bone.
Do you think the game will be a cooperative on Xbox One and PlayStation 4, or is it just going to
One.
be single player?
It's gonna be
I don't know.
gonna be one of those single player online games for
Okay.
any system.
Uh,
Just because.
Well,
you
PC obviously is single player online.
Gonna
No,
the single
I
thing.
know what you're talking
hit
about. This is
with the
definitely
whole
gonna be a
thing.
hot seat game.
Yeah, that's so dumb. All right, so let's get to our end thing, and
Okay,
this one's important to me. This one hits at home. How
Ooh.
is the PvE and endgame content gonna fare?
Wait, say that again.
How will the PvE and God damn it! How will
The
PvE and
PvE
endgame content fare?
So long
I
as
think they're gonna have to constantly update
They're gonna
it.
be an end
Yeah.
of the game.
that's exactly
They're
what I
gonna-
was just thinking, Ryan. Is
They're
that
gonna
so
have
long?
to have. I think they're gonna have to. What I would do is I would already have some kind of piece of like updated PVE like already ready as the game is released, and just set a release date for it. Like this is coming out this time, so get ready, or
Yeah.
something like that.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Is that for them to be successful for Endgame, they're gonna have to do the same thing that WoW's been doing for years, where it's just like, just as people are about to like get bored of it and kind of drift away, it's like, oh, by the way, here's this new expansion, and
Yeah, exactly.
that's the only way.
He
That's
has
the only way an MMO
pandas.
Yeah,
I think it
pandas.
should be an update to the game, but not DLC.
You mean expansions?
Like, yeah, I think it should just be updates. Because I feel like,
I feel like you're not getting your money's worth with some of the expansions that have been coming out for WoW.
exactly. And
Yeah.
let alone, I didn't like Dawn Guard. I didn't like any.
Alright, those
I
are for
didn't like any of
Skyrim.
Skyrim.
I know, but what I'm saying is DLC packs are never really that good. I don't think any of them are really
They're
that worth
not. They're
it.
not worth the cost.
Exactly.
You're not getting.
Especially
You're not
Call
getting
of
the bang
Duty,
for your
like,
buck.
Oh yeah, give me 3 maps that you could have put in the game when you released it.
Yeah.
Whatever. But
Do you still think that PvE will still, like, with the combat they have, be revolutionary enough to continue raiding and all that stuff?
yes.
I don't know if they've announced raiding, but you know it's an MMO. I
All you
assume
need is a
there'd be
group of
raiding.
people and weapons to do a raid. So either way, it's
That's
gonna be a
true.
raid.
And something to kill.
That is what a
That's
raid is.
generally a good
Yeah.
thing to have in a raid.
Now, like, endgame PvP usually needs to be like competitive. How will
I wanna,
300 man
I want it to be like
PvP be competitive?
I want the whole. World of Warcraft had that cool thing with duels. Like you can agree to fight. I feel like if you run around with a group of your friends, or you guys are in a guild or something, you have
Just
2 guilds that
randomly
run into
challenge
each other
somebody.
out of middle of nowhere, and you're just like, okay, duel, and you've got like 10 on 12 or something.
Or they could have
out of
they
nowhere.
could have an area for Guild Wars, like
Yeah,
exclusively
but
like an area.
That's fine, but what I'm saying is like it could be in a peaceful place, out of middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
a duel, and then it takes you right to somewhere where you guys can fight.
Yeah,
Or you can
because
fight right there. But all the
I
other
was gonna say,
players-
or even fight right there, just to have
But
it.
all the other players that are just kind of walking around are gonna be like, all right, this is really annoying. Everybody's fighting in front of my face, and I really don't want to deal with it.
Well, no, because it wasn't that bad in SWTOR the way they had that one. Sorry, Star Wars: The
wasn't?
Old Republic. Is what it was is like if
I
you
didn't play
ran,
Star Wars
if you
enough, so.
yeah, no, it was just like if you're running around in a certain area and someone else from the opposite side. Well, first of all, you had to get to a certain level to get to the planets that had both of the
That's how
dark
WoW
and
works,
light
too.
sides
where
on
it's
it.
like good and bad, where both sides can fight. At
Yeah.
Yeah, but will
times.
factions work like that? Because the factions are warring, but I don't feel like how
No,
they're
I just feel-
warring
I
is.
feel
I don't
like
know.
there
there
should
should
be.
be- like a party leader. So like if you got you and your friends, there's a leader to the party. You just invite people from your guild, and you guys like I guess teleport or whatever, meet up wherever you're going. And if you guys run into another group of people walking around, the 2 leaders can agree to duel, and then you and your buddies can fight.
Ah,
That's
I
what
see
I'm
what
trying
you're
to
saying.
say. So it's like
Yeah.
it's the same thing as the World of Warcraft duel, but you can be like, no, I don't want to fight.
But is that
go-
end of game content? That's not really end game content now, is it?
What do you mean?
I think they should keep adding like new mini events too, like
right.
You wouldn't-
like
and-
like I said like before, like have a whole like another like sideline available, but they should keep adding like dungeon bosses and stuff,
Yeah,
like raid bosses and stuff, like
just
because
for
they're easy. Let's be honest, you
or
don't need to write a
events,
script or
just
storyline
events,
for
things
them.
that happen at certain times and then are taken
Yeah,
out
there you
later
go.
on.
You're
So
taking like
it's
world,
not-
Yeah,
world
those are nice.
it's
bosses.
just
And-
instead of adding on, it's just going to be a temporary thing, a temporary thing, a temporary thing.
The thing
that's
that they
cool,
need to
actually.
learn, they need to learn from Star Wars: The Old Republic, and I think a lot of MMOs need to realize it, and it's a lot of game developers in general. The reason I think Tor kind of died off was because who on their team is looking for the community and what the community is saying, what's wrong with the game, what they need to fix. I don't feel like they ever even listened. Like, Tor, the armor. We can
Oh
all
my
agree
God.
Oh god.
that
It's
it
awful.
looks completely like poo-poo.
Well, it's
Yeah,
like
it was
okay,
bad.
It's
But,
too cartoonish. It's way too simple. They did not think about their armor at all. It's just
But what was
like, it's just
what was it
plain.
that you were telling me before, Brent, about actually in ESO, the Emperor thing?
Okay, so the whole point of like multiplayer is to crown your leader of the faction emperor, and I don't really know what the leader of the faction means. Probably just like the figurehead of your
Guild.
faction, as you know, that's
Okay,
thought
see,
of.
that's where Endgame is going to be. What I think, at least, is that's what Endgame is going to be. That there's going to be the constant struggle between the two sides, and you constantly have to go back in and help out your side, so that they're like, once their leader becomes emperor, then Endgame is you have to dethrone that emperor and put your own on, and it'll just be that constant struggle, where it's back and forth,
So
back
I
and
know-
forth,
So
back
then
and
they
forth.
start off with nothing, and then they have to come and retake their throne.
Yeah,
what you're saying?
exactly.
Alright, I like
I know as far as expansion stuff goes, they plan on adding the Dark Brotherhood later, because I know it's not in currently. Right now
Dark
they have like the
Brotherhood.
Thieves Guild, Fighters Guild, and I'm assuming
I
the
beat Dark
Mages Guild.
Brotherhood right off the bat.
See, that's the thing though. Like, I think that's the reason they didn't add it in, because that's what everyone would do.
Everybody loves Dark Brotherhood so much that they go right for
everybody
it.
would be Dark
Now,
Brotherhood.
who do you guys plan on allying with?
If not Dark Brotherhood, I would be
I would go
Mage.
thieves or rangers.
Thieves. Alright, Thieves, Mage, and my third.
Yeah, but being in
Probably-
that guild, does that mean you can't do something? Like, if you're not in the Mages Guild, you can't be a mage?
No, I don't know. Maybe it's
I think there's gonna be
specific-
some kind of like sidearm like magic. Some kind
I
of
feel like I said, there's gonna be. I think it should be melee weapons.
Yeah,
and
but
a ranged weapon.
but
so both
but what I'm
sides
saying
have-
is because they're warring factions. They're not like best friends.
okay,
um,
yeah, they're all fighting.
Yeah, they're all fighting. Obviously you can go to the same place as other factions. I mean, that's just how it's gonna have to work. Does that mean you can use magic on Fighters Guild and stuff, or you have to be in the Mages Guild?
I think it'll
Um,
be a means to an end. So like fighters would just be it only has the certain types of weapons, but you can still accomplish the same thing that the mages can with the different types of magic. And so I think that
I
is
just
going
think
to
it'd be
limit
an
a lot of
unfair
it.
battle with mages throwing spells, you from a distance, and your fighters guild, so you have nothing
Yeah.
but swords. What are you gonna do?
Oh, I understand that.
So-
That makes
Yeah, like,
sense.
What I'm saying is,
Yeah, I feel like they wouldn't do
I feel
that.
like there should be a ranged weapon for each and every character. There should be a melee weapon. So basically, what I'm trying to say
or
is,
at least
mages
like
should be
some
able to
kind
use
of
swords too.
buff
For-
that
like a
that'll
buff.
make the warriors like resistant to magic or something.
Bound
some kinda,
weapons. I would like bound weapons for mages again. Bound
Actually,
weapons
yeah,
were one of my
That's
favorites.
a good idea. Bound
So
weapons
instead of
for
melee,
mages.
you're just using spells as melee. And then your range, so every other person out there that uses swords or whatever to their specific class, like thieves and stuff, they're going to use like daggers and stealth. And you have the fighters guild, which is going to use swords and stuff like that. But they should be able to use bows. Or fighters guild should be able to use like giant throwing axes or something.
I think
And
Fighters
then-
Guild will be bows in that as well, because that's
yeah.
just
Thieves,
Fighters Guild
thieves will
is
be
regular
bows
weapons.
though, because that's more. Of a stealth thing.
I don't feel like it's gonna matter. I feel like it's just gonna be you're with this people. Like you just pick.
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna matter.
Yeah, weapon lock is probably not going to make a big difference, because I remember in Oblivion, when I was going through the Fighters Guild,
Fighters Guild, you were still using
Yeah.
magic.
I was still using magic the entire time, and even at the end of it, they were like, "Here's our champion, Spell Slinger," and it was just
Yeah.
like, "Yay!" It's like, do they really give a shit that I wasn't running around with an axe hacking people to bits? No. Did they care that I was setting them on fire from a distance and just standing there watching them burn? No. Because it doesn't make that big of a deal. It'll just be like, these are the people that wanted specifically, this is our guild, this is our faction.
All right.
So,
I guess that's one more question. We'll sum it up real quick. Short question. Something that people are commonly concerned with.
A short question.
Something to
Oh
wrap
god,
it
I'm
up.
gonna have to come up
Last
with
one.
top of my head. How do you think?
Character customization? That's something quick we can talk about.
that's
I don't.
gonna be huge.
I
Yeah,
want it to be
that's
good.
that's.
I don't want it to be like WoW with the whole gem thing where you can like put a red gem in, up your attack by
Yeah,
like
dude.
3.
I don't know.
I want it to be like a. Go
Brent
ahead.
said that Guild Wars character customization was supposed to be huge, and it ended up being
It wasn't.
retarded.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
I don't want
stupid.
people having a lot of armor and then people not having so much armor because their class doesn't allow them to wear heavy armor affect them in battle. I mean, I know it should, but I don't feel like it should affect that much.
I feel like it should affect stats. I feel like if you wear heavy armor,
Well, like,
it should be.
yeah,
Yeah,
better
I
I
know,
to
but
guess
I
have
don't feel
a-
like
I don't feel like it should be too
No, I
much
think
of a
it should be-
difference.
Well, no, it shouldn't. It should be like Oblivion or Skyrim, where you wear lighter armor, you're faster, and you
yeah, they
wear
both
heavy
yeah,
armor,
they
you're
have
slower.
effects, and then they have
but,
like
yeah.
their withdrawal, like their drawbacks, and they have their buffs and whatnot.
I
Yeah.
really
There's
hope.
a
WoW
reason to wear it
had,
every
though,
type.
You know what I mean? And
I
keep
really
going back
hope
to WoW
things
is
like-
the only MMO I can relate to, though.
I really hope
So-
Chameleon doesn't take effect. I really.
Oh yeah,
I,
no.
I've-
Thieves, I feel like it should be, but if you're moving, you're slightly visible. If it's something like that, if you're sitting
Yeah, but
still
for
and you're waiting for a
PvP
kill, then
Oh yeah,
For
that's
P-
well,
no,
that's the only
that's
the only
good.
way stealth
You-
is gonna work in PvP.
right, exactly.
Yeah,
So,
but-
like,
but you
listen,
could be
use
invisible with your
WoW,
armor.
For example, yeah,
You could
but
be invisible forever with
No.
your armor.
No. See, the way that we're saying though is that it's not actually like a chameleon ability, but that's what stealth is. Stealth takes over for chameleon. Say like you go into stealth right in front of somebody, you're at 25% stealth, then or 25%
you're-
chameleon, and then you go and you start moving when you stealth away from somebody.
Okay, yeah, I
you're
see
at
what you're saying.
50%.
I see what you're saying.
right. So,
But
feel
I
like-
just
I
don't
feel
want
like
it to be
you're-
100% all the time.
No.
like
Hey,
it wasn't in
it doesn't
Skyrim or
matter.
Oblivion.
Even in
100% when you're
Oblivion.
just sitting there.
Yeah, but even when you were
100%
walking, it was 100%.
Yeah, well, I know, but it's not be like that. I know it's not. It's
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just
no,
hoping
you
it's
can't-
not.
You can't successfully have a PvP
So,
thing where someone is 100% invisible
World of
walking around.
Warcraft did that though. It had fully invisible even when you were moving, but if you were so close, like if you were starting to be really close to a character, you could slightly see them. And I went
Yeah,
out
that
close
sucks
to
for
them,
range.
really close. Right.
Star Wars
It-
had that
that's-
too.
It's
Oh yeah, I
like
didn't even think of that.
you were so weak in WoW, so if you didn't do the sneak, you wouldn't have any advantage.
Yeah, but
you
see,
basically-
also in Star Wars. Sorry, I'm bringing up what Ryan said.
It's okay. We all
It
need to throw
was-
in our games that we relate to here. So
Well, yeah,
Alright.
I could do WoW or Star Wars. Is like you can't attack while stealth. So sure, there's that initial advantage of I'm going into
I like
stealth,
that. That's a good idea.
and then
I
I'm
didn't really
sneaking
think of
up, and then once I start attacking, I'm completely visible, and they can just rape the shit out of me.
All right. All right.
that.
So
Alright, well, that wraps it up.
that ends the first episode of Elder Scrolls Podcast. At the end of the video, please hit the next button and please hit subscribe. Thank you for watching. This has been Brent.
Dakota.
Ryan, this guy. and
Ryan?
Rex.
All right. We shall see you guys later. Where the fuck's the record button? Oh, there it is. Hey, thanks for watching. And remember, if you want to see the next episode, please hit the annotation on the video now. Also, remember to like and subscribe. Thank you and have a great day.